Sightings was contacted by Jeff Seelman of Vanguard Psychic Investigations about his company's unique approach to ghost busting. He offered to show us his methods during his work inside a Milwaukee area home. The three women who share the home are being terrorized by what they feel is a malicious spirit.
I'd be sitting in the living room and we'd hear kind of a creaky down the stairs. You'd actually hear it progressing down the stairs, almost as if someone was walking up and down the stairs.
The presence has a strange, voyeuristic quality. Windows are found open after they've been closed, doors wide open after they've been locked. Each roommate has had the feeling of being watched in her most private moments, and Kathy believes she was confronted by the entity in her own bed.
When I felt the presence come into the bed with me, it felt like the covers had lifted off my body. And I kept turning around thinking maybe it was just my imagination. I fluffed the covers out, but I could still feel like something was next to me and it was giving me the creeps.
Kathy didn't want to sleep in her room, and she didn't want to sleep on the couch, and she didn't want to sleep in my bedroom. So she was going to leave, and I was not going to stay here by myself, so it was, I was going to leave with her.
They have moved out until the house can be cleared of its invasive energy. To rule out an earthly explanation for the phenomenon, Sightings asked two local researchers to survey the site and monitor environmental conditions in the home.
This camera is of the type that is made to see in extreme low light level conditions. If there is any type of movement or disturbance to the normal temperatures in the room, the infrared lighting should highlight it and make it recordable for us.
The 24-hour surveillance yielded no evidence of a physical disturbance, so the investigation turned to the metaphysical. Together, Jeffrey Seelman and Mary Ellen Pride have more than 25 years' experience investigating haunted activity. They employ a mix of psychic contact and spiritual cleansing to rid Midwestern homes of disturbing energies and entities. Seelman believes he knows who is haunting this house.
I think it's a very powerful spirit, very evil, negative, obnoxious, parasitical, a feeder that feeds off of energy from others, in this case, the three women who live here.
Unknown to Vanguard Investigations, members of the Sightings team had independently researched the history of the area. In 1844, John Wagner bought 170 acres of land in Waukesha, Wisconsin, including the land where the house in our investigation sits today. Wagner was a wealthy entrepreneur who had dabbled in mysticism, conducting seances to entertain his friends. Did John Wagner unwittingly open up a dark pathway from the other side that has never been closed? When Jeff enters the empty house, he instantly feels that he is not alone.
My feeling is this particular stairway is well traversed by the spirit. In here, it watches one or more of the women take a shower or a bath. Has some voyeuristic tendencies.
Both investigators feel the presence in every room upstairs. But in Kathy's room, Mary Ellen believes that she has made physical contact.
I felt something thump me real hard, and this area kind of corresponds.
There's a lot of trapped energy in this room.
And there's a lot of agitation, too. So I can feel that because my heart rate is going.
Jeff and Mary Ellen agree that there is a single entity here, definitely male, and potentially more violent than he has shown himself to be. Jeff and Mary Ellen psychically search for the vortex of his energy, the place they term the nest.
The nest is in the basement, and I think Mary is very close to it.
Could predate the time that the house was built, actually, is what my thought would be.
Could be.
This is a pretty intense energy, and it's pretty much directed at women as opposed to men.
Once the nest is identified, Jeff begins to perform a ritual of his own design that he believes has greater power and effectiveness than exorcism. In Kathy's bedroom, he uses symbolic gestures drawn from many faiths to force the entity from this location, replacing its negativity with healing energy. Then, in the basement, at the supposed source of the haunting, Jeff performs a final ritual to drive the dark force out completely and close the spirit portal, ensuring the entity will not return.
I cleanse the atmosphere of all of the house. A lot of perverted energy. I think if the problem would have continued for a while longer, that some really bad things would have probably happened here, far worse than have already happened.
After the ritual cleansing, the three women who had lived in the home agree to return for a visit. There is trepidation, but all three feel that the house has a new, benevolent energy.
There's no way of predicting what could happen, and they said it would have been worse, and I have no desire for that to happen. I'm just relieved because whatever it was is gone.
Since our investigation, Kathy, Erica, and Jen have moved back into their rented home. So far, the haunting activity that drove them from the site has not returned.